Okay, let's do again second Perek, second Mishnah. Perek Beis, Mishnah Beis. Right, so we were talking about our class society, which fortunately has upward mobility. All you got to do is accept a list of restrictions, and then you can move up to the next class. Right, so your regular Jew who's not particularly particular about anything, he just does what he should. So he's the Am Haaretz, the general people of the land. And like we've been saying, we don't, even though most of them do properly separate Trumas and Maasros like they should, the next group of people aren't going to trust them to do it, so they're going to take off again from anything they purchase or receive from the Am Haaretz. Okay, so how do you make it into the next class? It's Mishnah Beis. Second Mishnah.
Chapter 2?
Yes.
Mishnah Beis, okay.
Hamakabel of Lios Neman. If someone accepts upon himself, I'm going to be someone that you can trust about Meiser. So what do you have to do to become a trustworthy person about Meiser? Meiser eshu eichel. Most basic, you have to be particular to take Meiser off anything you buy from anyone who's not trustworthy that you eat. Veshu meicher, anything you sell to anybody. Veshu lekeach, and whatever you purchase. So if you are particular to take off Meiser from the things you buy, sell, and eat, then you've made it to the class of Neman, and your produce will not be subject to the restrictions of Demai. One more thing, which is disputed, ve'enu misacher etzel amarts. You can't eat by somebody else who's not in the class of Neman, who's not trustworthy about Meiser. Rabbi Yehuda Omer, no. Af misacher etzel amarts. You could eat Neman. You could eat by other people. It's just when it's your own money, you have to be careful to take off the Meiser. And Amrul, they said to him, Al atzmei and if he's not concerned about eating something that might not be fixed, so he'll go eat by an Amar's house. How are you going to trust him that he actually took off the mice like you should?
He's eating at Chaim Yankel's house, and Chaim Yankel is like not a shlush of a guy.
Fine. Next class. So Neman is a class that was relevant. That's relevant for Demai, essentially our Maseches, so it belongs here. The next class is chaver. Chaver are the people that are particular on tum and taharah. They make sure that everything they eat is ritually pure. So that's the next class. Hamakabel of lios chaver. If someone wants to be a chaver, eno meicher lam aretz lach v'yavish. So he's particular also that other people shouldn't make things tamei. So he won't sell to regular people any produce because they're not particular about making it tamei. They might make it tamei whether it's lach, whether it's wet. So it's already able to accept tum in its current state, or it's dry, because getting things wet is not particularly hard. It's usually part of the process of preparing them. He won't buy anything wet from anyone who's not particular on tuma, because once it got wet, it can become tummy, and maybe some tuma touched it, and this person isn't particular about that. He can't go eat by an Amar Aretz. That's because again his food presumably is tummy because he's not particular about it. And now it becomes even worse. You can't invite the Am Haaretz over to your house with his clothing. So there's a little bit of discussion on why his clothing particular is a problem more than his body.
Right.
The most simple explanation is because the thing you're most likely to touch the guy is his clothing more than his body. It's harder to, if he's in your house, you're likely to bump into him, and if his clothing might be tummy, so then you're gonna touch it. Fine. Then Rabbi Yehuda this time is on the stricter side. He adds a few non-tumah related requirements in order to be a chaver. Rabbi Yehuda Omer, aflo igadol behemadake, can't raise small animals like sheep or goats because those tend to get out and eat other people's stuff. So that's a gezel problem. It's theft.
Backing up for a second. After the temple was second temple destroyed, then you got tumah.
So after the second temple was destroyed, it's interesting. It sounds like from the Gemara that there still were. Obviously, it was a much smaller group, but there still were people that were. There still were people that were particular about tumah. It sounds like they still had paraduma ashes for a while. And but
you read my, yeah.
But at this point,
it's toast. But even you could still be particular because there's other ways to have tumah.
Right, but most other tumas you can get rid of with mikvah.
That's right.
So, but the problem is to contact a dead body, you need paraduma. Nowadays, that's gone. Right. Rabbi Yehuda says, "Lo yigadol b'hem," that can't raise small animals because those will tend to wander into other people's fields, which would be a problem of theft. V'li paritz ben darm, he shouldn't be too open in the darm. He shouldn't be too quick, too frequent to make vows, because you make too many vows, eventually you're not going to keep one of them.
Right.
Ubeschoik, he shouldn't be laughing around, fooling around too much. You have to be a certain level of seriousness if you want to be this chaver. Volume metamal amesim, you shouldn't be regularly becoming tamei to dead bodies. Umeshamish Beis Medrash, you should spend time learning in the Beis Medrash. And Amrullah, they said to him, Lo ba'ilu l'chlap. No. The definition of chaver is tum and taharah related stuff. These are all good things, but you gotta, the rules to be a chaver are only the rules to be a chaver. You can't just throw in more things that you want everyone to do. Okay. Mishnah Dalet is now a hanach taimen, the bakers. The Chachamim only obligated to take off the Trumas Meiser, which is that 1/100th, essentially, about 1/10 of a tenth. And Challah, which obviously they're obligated to take off, they did not obligate them to take off Meiser Sheni, an additional 10%. And they explained because there was a lot of pressure on the bakers to keep the price of bread low. So the government officials like to fix basic staple prices low, and if he's gonna have an extra 10% expense on his wheat, on his primary ingredients, he's not going to be able to compete. So they said that he doesn't have to take off the Meiser Sheni.
You don't have to.
He does not have to.
He doesn't have to.
So you might have to, right? Which I mean, you would have to, right? Hachenvanim, and a storekeeper. That this dispensation is only for a baker. If you're a storekeeper and you're selling all sorts of stuff, so you'll lose some money on whatever it is, and you'll make it back elsewhere. We don't give you the same dispensation. However, kol hamashpiin b'midah gasa, anyone who sells in large amounts, essentially a wholesaler. So again, the profit per purchase is much smaller. Such people are allowed to sell demai, because if the wholesaler is going to charge another 10%, he's gonna be out of business. Who are these people that sell in large amounts? Kagon hastivanius umaychritfu. Again, the wholesalers, the people that sell large quantities of oil, wine, wheat. They buy it up from the farmers and they sell it out. They sell it to the storekeepers. So those people are selling in large amounts. If we would make them take off Demai, it would probably wipe out their whole profit margin. So therefore, they'll sell it as Demai, and the storekeeper will be the one he charges it, upcharges it, and he'll include the Demai in his.
Somebody's got to take the responsibility.
Right. So we put in the person who's selling directly to the consumers instead of putting it with the wholesaler. Okay, let's stop here.